welcome. So, September 2024 is a very busy month. Welcome. I'm your Cosmic Girl 101, and I'm going to take you on a deep dive astrologically connecting to your rising sign as a Sagittarius rising. If deep analytical astrology, play by play, very detailed about the personal planets, the outer planets, eclipses, equinoxes, moons, and suns is not your jam, I get it. That's absolutely fine. But if this is your tonic that you like to sip on, your Cosmic Girl 101 has you covered. Welcome. As a Sagittarius rising, your ruling planet is Jupiter. You're a mutable yang fire rising sign. Let's get into the month ahead. On the 1st of September, Pluto's retrograding back into Capricorn, your second house. It goes direct on October 11. Your second house is your financial house. It's where you accumulate possessions, assets. It's where you develop skills through courses, where you learn things that actually support the self and give you a sense of confidence. Learning something through a course is an asset. Your brain is an asset and it supports you. So Pluto dipping his toes back in here before it goes direct on October 11. You have an opportunity to develop more skills, also an opportunity to cull and release any possessions that are weighing you down. You might need a garage sale, put some things on eBay, for example, and get some money back for all those possessions that you've outgrown. Pluto can also see a return of resources that you thought maybe were gone or you've been waiting for an investment to mature, for example. This is when you can cash in, when Pluto is retrograding on the 2nd in your second house and then goes direct October 11. Uranus on the same day retrogrades in Taurus. So Uranus is slowing down. So the nervous system, if you will, gets a bit of a break in your 6th house of work, health and services. Uranus goes direct on January 30, 2025. If you have experienced some abrupt changes to your health, your body, your career, co-workers, services that you provide to other people, or services that support you, Uranus retrograding here will slow things down and things should start settling. So it's a really useful transit to get on top of any physical nuances, iron out any differences or conflicts or changes that have been quite abrupt or acute that you may have experienced in the 6th house before Uranus goes direct, January 30, 2025. The other solar planets that are continuing their transits in September is Neptune, which is retrograde in Pisces, your 4th house. So the 4th house is an angular house. So any angular houses in your chart, Sagittarius rising, are important. It goes direct on December 7. Jupiter, which is your ruling planet, is currently transiting in Gemini. This is your 7th house, another angular house. And this is Jupiter's detriment sign. So Jupiter, your ruling planet, doesn't operate so well in the very over-analytical sign of Gemini that gets very split into lots of activity going on with the mind and lots of buzzing physically and lots of changes around you. That could be connected with your partners or any contracts or people that you're connected to professionally or even intimately. This is an angular house, so it's going to be really significant to you because the ruling planet that rules your body is way across the way, if you will, in the 7th house in your natal chart as a Sag rising. So you are very aware of all the energy and what's going on with other people, a lot of attention and almost a lot of energy being spent towards other people or dealing with contracts and agreements, anything to do with pleasure as well. 7th house is where we find resting, have some pleasure at the end of the day, and also signifies endings. So your ruling planet could be in a transition when it's transiting in Gemini, your 7th house, of things ending for maybe a significant, intimate partner. They might be changing things up, especially with contracts or agreements, for example. They could be going through some changes, or people that are connected to you professionally. could also be going through some significant changes too, because it's the seventh house of other people that you connect with. Saturn is also co-present in your fourth house, retrograde in Pisces, and goes direct on November 15. So you have two planets retrograde in your fourth house, the angular house. Squares off your first, squares off your seventh house, and opposes your 10th house. These are all really significant parts of your chart. So you've got two planets retrograde in your fourth house. So a lot of adaptation, getting clear, getting out of any dream space regarding your home, family, real estate, ancestry, property, refurbishing the home, changes in the physical home. Neptune and Saturn, which are really slow planets, you could be experiencing, almost feeling like you're agitated in the family, or there's agitation in the family. Lots of disruption going on in the family unit or the family home, or concerns with real estate and property, contracts connected to that. Difficult in the fourth house with two really slow planets retrograding in that angular house. Hang in there. They're going to go direct soon enough, but this is like an adjustment time going on for you and your family, parents and parenting. These subjects could be going through a bit of a transition. Now on to the luminary, the moon. On the 2nd of September, this officially begins eclipse season. We have a new moon in the sign of Virgo. Now, Virgo is your 10th house. Pisces is your 4th house. So for the next 3 years, all the way up until, I think it's February 2027, when you get the last eclipse happening in the sign of Virgo, ends. So we're looking at a 3-year window of really big adaptations going on in the family, home, property, real estate, parents, parenting, and your career house, your professional life, your public image, your name, how people know you. It's a very visual place and has a lot to do with authority figures, people that are in power, people that you look up to, or people that guide you. This is all the 10th house. So for the next 3 years, this is where the eclipses are going to be occurring. We're wrapping up the Aries Libra eclipse as well, but we begin the 10th, 4th house axis eclipse season now for you as Sagittarius rising. I think you're going to be able to deal with the eclipses in the 10th and the 4th a lot more organically than others, quite simply because Virgo and Pisces are mutable signs such as yourself. I don't think you're going to struggle too much with being flexible and ready to change on a dime as things are needed to be changed and flexed with. Okay, so new moon on the 2nd of September. And it's in your 10th house. So something lunar is beginning. So anything lunar is to do with the physical body. It's to do with cities, environments, people. So you could have new people walk through your door connected to your career, or people that turn up, if you will, that support your professional life on the 2nd of September. Practical new beginning. It's going to take some changing and adaptability. So if a new authority figure walks in, you may need to adapt, or there may be new systems going on in the workplace professionally that you need to, navigate. It's not anything you can't handle, but there are new changes happening in your public space. How you're seen, you could just be seen as learning a new system, for example, a new service. Virgo is very service oriented, and Virgo is all about purification, perfectionism, getting a job done, and being a service and help to other people. So this is what you could be, navigating on the 2nd of September, brand new beginnings in the workplace regarding services and navigating new systems and welcoming new people in that can help you professionally. On the 17th, we see the partial full moon lunar eclipse happening in Pisces, your 4th house. So this lunation is lighting up your 4th, and we're talking about lunar themes again, but this is in the home. This is in your place of retreat. This is your sanctuary place. So what's lighting up here is any connections with subjects of parents or parenting, home, real estate and property concerns. So what's lighting up is those changes that are starting on the 2nd of September. It's taking some adjustment, and you may need to be expressing yourself how you feel about that with your family, or having some discussions about your career with your family, or parents and parenting, and new adaptations that may be occurring for you on the 17th of September. Now onto the other luminary, the sun. Opening up the month of September, it continues its transit in the sign of earthy, practical, detail-oriented zodiac sign of Virgo, your 10th house. On the 8th of September, that sun is opposing retrograde Saturn currently in your 4th house. So the sun is opposed to slow decisions and slow action. So your workplace or someone in your workplace may be demanding more of you, but there's something going on in the physical body, the home unit, anything to do with real estate, property concerns, parents, parenting, that is slowing you down or needs more consideration than your career, for example. It's a difficult day to navigate on the 8th of September. On the 12th, the sun then squares off with your ruling planet, currently in your 7th house. So again, it looks like demands from work, a lot of heavy lifting, and you may need to delegate and be a little bit more gentle in regards to not trying to break out of any agreements or contracts or throwing the baby out with the bathwater. This is a passing day, but if you're feeling, restricted in any way, shape or form, this day will certainly reveal any cracks or any emotional truths about you being split into and indecisive about communication or a direction connected to your career and your professional life. On the 20th, we see the sun opposing retrograde Neptune in your 4th house. So the sun lighting up that 10th house opposed to retrograde Neptune. So the sun is, let's get a job done. Let's get practical. Let's get real. Let's start getting into providing real, solid, stable services. Let's learn things. And it's opposed to retrograde Neptune, which is all about being very visionary, taking its time, checking out. So you may want to retreat or feel lethargic, your body, something going on in the family or the home is very disruptive. And it's sort of like pulling you away from all the responsibility or your attention that's needed in your professional life or your career house. On the 22nd of September, we see the beginning of the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere, which is Ostara, and it's the beginning of the autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere, which is Mabon. So a change of season. We all on the planet are going through a change of season, which is refreshing. It brings in new energy. Apologies in advance if you can hear my computer loading. I've got to get on with this video. I can't be too distracted or nitpicky, which is very Virgoan about background noise. So apologies in advance. So yeah, new season happening. And the same day we see that sun ingress into the sign of Libra, and it's the sun's fall sign. And this is your 11th house until October 22nd. So the sun for 4 weeks is transiting in your 11th house of beneficiaries and allies that support your career and your public and professional life. This is the house of your dreams, the house of friendships, the house of charity. It's a house of joy and connecting with social groups, organizations that give you a sense of social outlet and integration. It's a very social place, the 11th house. So the sun transiting here for 4 weeks can see you feeling that you can, talk a little bit more, be a little bit more social if you felt like you've been stuck in some way, shape or form. This transit may help illuminate people that can, get you out of a funk That's how I'm feeling this for you, Sagittarius rising. It sextiles your first house, that 11th house. So something about the self or the physical body, you could be getting someone helping you change your image, your appearance. Nice transit for 4 weeks, from the 22nd of September up until October 22nd. On the 30th of September, we see the Sun conjunct Mercury in your 11th house. This could be a reveal of information, contracts, agreements, or financial exchanges going on with those 11th house topics of friends, dreams, allies and beneficiaries that help your career, charitable organizations that you may be connected with, groups and organizations. Something important's landing or possibly changing for you on the 30th of September. Now on to planet Mars, our personal planet. Mars opening up the month of September is transiting in Gemini, your 7th house, which we've been talking about. It's the house of peace. It's the house where we find joy, and it's the house of endings. It's the house of contracts, agreements, relationships, marriage, partnerships, be it professional or intimate. Mars transiting here. It's only for the first few days of September, but he's certainly going to stir things up on the 3rd when Mars squares off with retrograde Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, your 4th house. This may be a difficult day. It's as if something or someone in the family unit or anything connected to real estate and property or sense of peace or sanctuary is at odds with agreements, contracts, a significant relationship. They could be pulled away, for example, or not there. There could be problems with home and negotiations. This is a difficult day on the 3rd of September. Then, only the next day, Mars moves on from your 7th house and ingresses into your 8th, which is the sign of Cancer, which is Mars's fall zodiac sign. Mars does not like being in Cancer. Mars is a fire sign. Cancer is a water sign. Mars is about action. Cancer is about, I take action from the heart and what I feel instinctually, intuitively. Mars is just like, oh, rubbish, let's just go for it. Don't worry about the feelings and repercussions and just bulldozers, whereas Cancer's a little bit more deliberate and considerate. Mars, not so much. So when you have Mars transiting from the 4th of September until November 3rd, your 8th house, you can expect fireworks and eliminating or at least discussing where you stand financially with yourself or your partner's resources and how they integrate and are connected with yours. A difficult transit when Mars is in the 8th house in the sign of Cancer, where it's really not happy. There could be a lot of emotional blow-ups. There could be a feeling of separation going on when we've got Mars transiting in your 8th house. On the 30th of September, Mars trines retrograde Saturn in Pisces, your 4th house. So what you could be experiencing on this day for you, Sagittarius rising, is a new approach to taking action connected to anchoring into financial commitments with your partner or yourself regarding anything that supports the family, real estate and property, your parents, anything to do with parenting. You may need to help a child, for example. It's an easier day to navigate on the 30th of September. Our personal planet Venus, the planet of socializing, interaction, connection, love. Well, she's transiting in her domicile sign of Libra, opening up the month, and this is your 11th house. That sextiles your 1st house. What's easier? Enjoying social connections, having new advocates that support your professional life, new charities that you can sink your teeth into, become an ambassador for an underdog. It's easier for you to get fired up about anything to do with human rights or groups that are trying to move and shake up society. Venus here will really open up your dream space, what you want for your future, and also have some really nice moments and possibly bring in new friendships when she's transiting in that joyful 11th house in her domicile of the sign of Libra. On the 5th of September, we see Venus and the Moon conjunct. This looks fabulous for something or someone in society, really giving you a lift up professionally, like a favor or an increase in finances comes in through a dream or a goal that you've reached. Looks like a great day on the 5th of September for you. On the 15th, we see Venus now trine your ruling planet in your 7th house. What's easier here on this day is things feeling in flow and more harmonious with contracts and agreements, with groups, allies, people that support you professionally, friends, even partners could see some lucrative people step into their space and give them a professional leg up. Just looks great on the 15th of September. Enjoy that day. On the 22nd, we see Venus then squaring off with retrograde Pluto in Capricorn, your 2nd house. Venus and Pluto in a square? Ouch. If there's discussions that need to be had connected to your finances, even your education or skills, this is the day where you may feel agitated, but agitated enough to speak up and know your self-worth and self-value. Pluto retrograde here is certainly establishing very strong boundaries in knowing instinctually what is supporting you and what isn't on the 22nd of September. Speak up. On the same day, we see Venus at ingress into Scorpio, her detriment zodiac sign, until October 17, and this is your 12th house. Venus in the 12th house is all about indulging in things behind the scenes, going on retreats, going on spas, going into hospitals, going into institutions to readjust the mind and the body and get back into feeling your super fabulous self. Venus here is very good at burning up cash behind the scenes and being very indulgent and a little bit naughty in dipping her toes into things that we know really aren't so good for us, but it's a delicious transit because it's the 12th house of the things unseen and almost as like we can get away with it. The only difference is that Venus is in her sign of detriment. And in the sign of Scorpio, we're talking about some really deep emotional connections, very fixed ideas about what it is that gives us pleasure or what doesn't. If there's some intimacy issues, this is the transit where things will come up and come out into the light for you to deal with once and for all. Mercury, our personal planet of travel and intellect and expansion, well, opening up the month, is continuing its transit in the sign of loud, proud Leo, your 9th house of international travel, expansion, education, and philosophy. On the 9th of September, Mercury then ingresses into the sign of Virgo, your 10th house, its sign of exaltation and its domicile sign, up until the 26th of September. So we have a couple of weeks here for you, Sagittarius rising, to get things moving, get clarity about your professional life, learn new skills, interact with people that can help you feel secure in your workplace. If you feel that you need to have more room to move professionally, this is the transit to get things set right for you so you feel comfortable in the mind and in the body and where it is that you go to work. Is it in line with you? Mercury in its exaltation and domicile sign of Virgo will certainly get you very detail oriented, very critical about what works and what doesn't connect to your professional image and anything to do with authority figures. On the 18th, Mercury opposes retrograde Saturn in your 4th house. So Mercury moving and shaking and really getting things steamed up and a lot of action going on in your professional life is opposed to your 4th house. So what's going on here? Possibly something going on in the home again. Parents, parenting, property, real estate concerns. is really grating on your career or your reputation in the public space. A typical day to navigate on the 18th. On the 25th, we see Mercury opposed retrograde Neptune in your fourth house. So Mercury is opposed to you taking your time about the vision for the future, because there's things going on that you're not real certain about connected to the fourth house topics. That's a very personal thing. It could be a plethora of things, but it certainly might indicate things to do with family, real estate, negotiations, parents, parenting, things that are very intimate to you, as opposed to what you're needed to do or what you're called to do with your work. There's some tension here to navigate on the 25th of September. On the 26th, we then see Mercury ingress into Libra, your 11th house, until October 13. Fabulous transit. It's your 11th house, which sextiles your first house. So this is where you can make some serious intellectual connections. You're a lot more social. You're connecting with friends, groups, societies, beneficiaries and allies, charity, really getting yourself into social circles when Mercury ingresses into Libra until October 13. There's your month of September 2024, Sagittarius rising. I trust you have a fabulous month. Thank you for tuning in. If you do like the channel, please consider pushing on that bell notification to receive the latest in any of the videos that I upload here on the Cosmic Girl 101 channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't done already, and if you have, thank you. Share the video so other people know that there's astrology information out there that they may not have been aware of, that may interest them as well. And also consider voting on my poll on the Cosmic Girl 101 homepage. I've got a poll up about some subjects that I would be happy to deep dive into for everyone, but I need people to vote on it, so please feel free to do that. Leave any comments if you want to interact so we can learn from one another on how transits actually pay out in the real world. And also understanding your own natal chart. If you have significant planets in your 10th house, your 7th house, your first house, or your 4th house, because lots of activations going on in the angular houses in your natal chart as a Sagittarius rising, those planets that are situated there, if any at all, are going to be seriously activated because of the other planets and the transits that are occurring there as well. So take note of that. And I've also provided my email. So if you want to connect with me and have a personal reading through astrology or tarot, or have any questions, feel free to connect with me at that email address that was on the first page opening up the video for the month of September 2024 for you. I trust you have a good one. Thanks for tuning in, Sagittarius rising. I'll catch you next video.